Three, three, two, one. Back like Cook Krizak in the 80s. All right, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. First and foremost, RIP Celeste, RIP Celeste Rivas, and prayers to the family. Like genuinely, bro. There's so many videos I watch where they don't even take 1 second. Because at the end of the day, y'all, this is a real girl, excuse me. Y'all know we do this junk raw, unedited. I'm not finna keep, making all these cuts and all that. If I make a mistake, excuse me, I'm human. But I've seen so many videos on this case that have not even taken a second to give their condolences to the family. This is someone's daughter. This is someone's niece. This is someone's sister. This is real, y'all. And that's partially why I wanted to make another video, because if I'm being honest, the first two videos were more of a raw, unedited perspective, which is why y'all loved it so much. And I really want to say thank y'all for everyone who's been engaging, who's been messaging me, who's been telling me they appreciate my perspective and they want to hear more of it. I really do appreciate it. This, if I'm being honest, it just happened that this was the case, and this was something that I could speak about to really start off the Raw Message 2 series. But at the end of the day, like, I really do send my condolences to the family. I can only imagine what it's like to lose a close one. Well, we all obviously at some point will know what it's like to lose a close one, even if you don't lose that many family members or friends in your lifetime. We all know what it's like. So imagine that, but it being in the spotlight and it being a trending topic for weeks. That's what the family is dealing with. And I want to keep that human aspect intact. Like I said in my last video, this is not a meal ticket to me. This is not a media ticket. This is not a way for me to blow up. This just happens to be something going on in the world that we all could use to learn from, to grow from, and to prevent others from putting themselves and being in this situation to the best of our abilities. Of course, we're not going to be able to eradicate anything. We're not going to be able to be 100% foolproof in anything. That's just life. But at the end of the day, there are so many parasocial aspects of this and psychological aspects that people have been pointing towards as the danger of social media for so long. And this is just a case where I feel like the universe and the world is allowing us to see this is the furthest and darkest case of parasocial relationships gone wrong. Because like I mentioned in my last video, there's two aspects of this that, let's just say, if otherwise different, it may not be as trending or as in the spotlight as it is. And that's one, his age, the age difference. Because of his age and her age, the psychological difference adds a value to where there's no grace to be given to David. It will be different. Like I said, let me full screen y'all. Y'all know how my camera be. Get us out the trenches. y'all know what's coming. Y'all should have noticed. Look at my shit, choppy as shit, bro. Let's full screen and lock in. Y'all know how we do. Oh shit, I accidentally removed it. Hold up. Let's full screen and lock in. 1 second, y'all. All right, boom. So we back. All right. Like I said, my first two videos, it was much more of a raw, unedited perspective, which is still going to be. But in this video, I do want to look at with y'all some of the case updates and some of the evidence being presented based on the allegations, because there's new discoveries and new evidence being presented pretty much every single day. And I kind of just want to look at some of that, psychoanalyze that, and give do what I do and give my unique perspective like I do. You get what I'm saying? So let's dive into it. We're gonna click on a few videos in this video. Actually, I usually never click on no damn video. My ass just be yapping. So we're gonna click on some videos and there's a couple videos I wanted to dive into. Here's a video we're gonna watch called David's Evil Alter Ego Explained. I'm sure some of y'all probably seen it, but we're gonna dive into that video because I spoke about in my first video how so many of these artists go to LA, they end up getting a handler, and they end up developing a alter ego. And I feel like there's something very spiritually significant that symbolizes. And I feel like Celeste, I sense actually that Celeste was one of David's muses and one of the energies he was harvesting to then fuel his artistry. Think about what he speaks about and the value of his art. Think about it. From the actual Celeste song, from the romantic homicide, from the where'd it go wrong, withered, if you really understand, you know, the etymology of these words, it all points towards a sense, a sort of, let's just say, dystopian type of undertone that points towards a dark love at the end of the day. Like all of his art is centered around a dark sort of dystopian love. And I feel like Celeste was a muse and energetically harvesting that, which fueled the artistry, which gave it so much more emotional validity. Remember, I talked about in one of my videos, artistic representation matters because there's a value and an energy behind soul. So when something is devoid of soul, as spirits consuming it, we can sense it. We can sense when it's coming from AI. We can sense when it's coming from a bot. We can sense when it has no connection to real experience. So I feel like even the little things like the part in the music video of someone being dumped in the trunk and him having on the blindfold and the blood all on his clothes, which also symbolizes something. All of that plays into it. Remember, in my artistic representation video, what did I talk about? My art consuming me because I had no intention behind it. My name was ATM Fetty. The things that I was speaking towards and represented myself as, even unintentionally, all came to fruition in some way. Remember, I went through a song with y'all, and in that song, I talked about let a pill dissolve right in my body. At that time, I was not popping pills. I wasn't. Maybe I had taken one or two, but I was not popping pills at that time. But a couple years later, once I completely disconnected from that and wanted to free myself from that energetic tie, guess what? I ended up dealing with popping pills. I ended up dealing with addiction and substance abuse. I ended up dealing with a lot of the things that I spoke about in my music that subconsciously I didn't realize had true representation, and it had to manifest itself in some way. But that's the beautiful part of my journey, I would say, because if you look at my artistic evolution, there's points where I literally talked about having a almost sort of angelic breakthrough, sort of like a reinventing an inner evolution of myself, where I go from this very dark place essentially to being a bearer of the light, for lack of better words, a bearer of an angelic message, a bearer of greater fruits, a bearer of higher expression, a bearer of ascending, a bearer of a greater testimony. I did not become consumed by that. And a lot of artists cannot get out of that. That's the type of shit. Like when we really start to get into it, like I'm telling y'all, like I said before I was doing any of this, I was working on spiritual concepts, spiritual studies, esoteric studies. I had an entire esoteric science website. So I understand the energetic trade-offs, how attention is used in esoteric currency, how attention is a real life currency, whether you know it or not. Energy, all that plays into this because I feel like Celeste was ultimately, it was ultimately a sacrifice, but not in a way of make this sacrifice, then you blow up. Not in the sort of way Kanye spoke about it, where he talked about how he sacrificed his mother. He talked about that, but it happens more in expression through choir, through through aligning actions that then open up this door for you to then be inhabited by these spirits and then carry out these actions will then lead to this. It's a cycle that feeds itself because the spirits that you're talking to, the spirits that you're mingling with to then gain whatever it is that you're seeking, because there's different deities for different things. For example, let's just use Baal, Baal. Baal is a deity of fertility, of rains, and of success. So that's why a lot of people like to point toward Baal as being worshipped in the music industry, in the music industry, or Moloch, if you know Moloch, if you know the deity of Moloch, being worshipped in the music industry, because these deities allow certain, let's just say, external gains for internal trades. So let's dive into this video. Keep all that in mind. 5 chilling updates and dismembered team found in David's car.
Can AI agents modify Rust code bases? Augment Code can. Augment Code is the best agent to one-shot features. Server client architecture.
My bad, y'all. We started the video off a little choppy, but we rolling.
Investigation into the strange death of a teenage girl whose body was found in a car registered to singer David, it continues. And this comes as the musician just moved out of a property that was raided by police. The young girl's remains were returned to her family, and with still no suspect, no person of interest, we ask, what exactly is going on right now? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, it's time to talk about the latest in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the teenage girl who was reportedly found dead in the trunk of a 2023 Tesla in a Los Angeles Hollywood tow yard, a car that was registered to 20-year-old musician David, D4VD, real name David Anthony Burke. By the way, we had a typo in our last episode. We said a Cybertruck. That was our mistake. It was actually a Tesla. By the way, if you don't know, D4VD, David, is a very big deal, okay? Aside from millions and millions of followers online, this is a performer who signed.
I wanted to talk about also who he signed to. This guy's not signed to no itty bitty local record label ran by some random weirdos in LA. It's just not. He is signed to Interscope. So remember in my last video, I mentioned that if any old Joe Schmo, if this was the same exact case with the same exact surrounding circumstances, and any old Joe in excuse me, yeah, I just got cooked. I just got cooked. What the fuck did I just try to say? Oh my god. But let me slow down, bro. We good. We chilling, y'all. Y'all chill. We gonna rock out. Like I said, it ain't gonna be perfect. You feel me? I ain't trying to do all the edits and all that. We gonna rock out just like we was talking face to face, and we was just kicking it with the fam. But yeah, lock back in. But yeah, like I said, if it was the same exact case, but instead of David, it was any old Joe Schmo, more than likely they would at least have got an initial arrest. You know how the judicial system works. They would have found an empty beer can, a joint, a half of a third of a pill, anything to at minimum hold him for the minimum 48 hours. I mean, hold him for 48 hours at minimum, bring on that small lesser charge so that they can do their investigation. Now, with this not being any old Joe Schmo, and it happens to be David, someone who has over 200 million on one song on one platform, 100 million on one song on one platform, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, 20 million, 10 million, 4 million, 3 million, all on one platform, shows that at minimum, this guy was a commodity to, if not the record label at minimum, to the American corporation. Because I think we forget there is the United States of America, and then there's the American corporation. And I feel like when you become, or when you reach a certain social status, there is a level of, let's just say, value that you gain with the American corporation. Sometimes, in some cases, we can just call it capital. You get what I'm saying? So that's something to keep in mind. That's why I feel like he has not just been arrested, because there is a political tie, even if it's just local. You think there is not one person who is connected to the local politics of Los Angeles that does not know this man, or is not connected to this man, or does not know his manager, does not know his A&R rep, does not know his um the guy who signed him, his handler, his manager, his assistant, something. There has to be some form of connection that's keeping him protected. That's what I sense, just based on all the evidence being presented and why he has not at minimum been detained and just had to bail out. You get what I'm saying?
Signed a record deal when he was 17 years old. He was reportedly paid a $3 million advance with a potential $6 million payday in all. He's been on the Billboard Hot 100. He's opened for SZA. He sat front row at a Paris runway show. He has billions of streams on Spotify. He really blew up on social media. That's how he really became famous. But you put that to the...
Keep in mind, he was a Fortnite streamer. So the majority of his fan base, in my opinion, is from the demographic age of, I would say, about 12 to 17. That is like the 80, 70, 60, 55%, in my opinion. I'm sure there's a way to fact check that, but I guarantee, without even having to look at it, based on the foundation of how he built his social media fame, it kind of has to be the case, if you get what I'm saying. I do not know one single fucking grown ass man or woman who watched Fortnite. I don't. I speak based on the correspondence of evidence, data, statistics, which data is the projections and the projections and analyzation of the statistics. So I go based on data, evidence, and then the corresponding of my real life experience. So no, I do not know no grown person who watched Fortnite. That's how I'm able to come to that conclusion. And plus, it's just kind of obvious based on his look, his style. You know, he's into the whole emo. I gotta kill you because I love you. Fuck ass, goof ass, weird ass shit, man. That nigga's a weirdo, bro. Anyway, let's get to it.
To the side, what do we know right now? We know that Celeste's body was found September 8th, that this was a day after she reportedly would have turned 15 years old. While a cause of death has not been officially released by the LA County Medical Examiner's Office at the time of this recording, it has been reported that her remains were released back to her family.
Think about that, bro. Her remains. Her fucking remains, bro. Crazy.
And talking about her remains, reports say that her body was apparently mutilated. We know that she was found severely decomposed, left inside of this plastic bag in the car, which raises questions about how long she was in that state. It's also not entirely clear when she died, but it's awful. It's awful.
And a way that we could connect that to the facts that David did not report his Tesla stolen or missing is because anyone who wants to commit such a heinous crime has a certain level of ingenious about themselves to where they know they can't just go out ablaze. So for the remains of her to be put in a car, bagged up, and then sat in an abandoned car lot where at minimum it will be a few days before anyone discovers her, shows that they were smart enough to know to less decompose the actual evidence, because her body is a piece of the evidence, so that the court, so that investigation can see what was the cause of death. If you shoot somebody and then leave the scene, it's going to be obvious that they got shot. You know what I'm saying? At minimum, it's going to be obvious that they got shot. And I feel like to dismember her, put her in a bag, and then leave it in a car, it just shows that's too intentional. Because like I said, what you going to argue? Well, she drove to the abandoned car lot, sat at the front, cut herself into pieces, bagged herself, and closed the front back up. And, you know, she did it herself. Like, that at minimum shows there is foul play. So that's why I feel there's a political tie-in, because how are y'all not fucking smart enough to realize there was foul play? Why are y'all still acting like y'all don't know? I don't get that. How are y'all still act? Do y'all need to hire me at LAPD? Do I need to come help LAPD? Because I did see some weird shit that threw me for a loop like a couple months ago. LA was trying to get their human trafficking department. They were basically trying to cut funds for the human trafficking department, which of all places, a place that has a street that's known all around the world for human trafficking, the place where all the celebrities go and get freaky buck wild, is the place y'all want to cut y'all department for human trafficking. Do y'all not see how weird that is? That's odd, even if that has nothing to do with this case. LA is an odd ass place that y'all advise y'all to stay the fuck away from LA, please. It is crazy out there, bro. Let's get into it.
And according to KTLA, the medical examiner has stated the cause and manner of death have been deferred, which means the deputy medical examiner completed an examination, but a cause of death has not been determined.
Cause of death can't be determined. All right, the deputy medical examiner is requesting additional testing and or studies in order to make a determination. Due to ongoing death investigation, the County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner cannot disclose what testing and or studies were requested. Deferred cases can take a few months before a cause of death is determined. Okay, I feel like they're trying their best to say, we know there was foul play, but we do not want to release any information that can be used in furtherance of, let's just say, the defense, because that is a real thing. I will give them credit for that. A lot of times when a case has reached such level of, let's just say, mainstream attention, as the department that is handling that case, you have to do your best not to release vital information. You cannot, even if you have to look stupid for a while, you cannot release information that will be used in efforts of defense. You just cannot. So I do give them grace there. I do give them a small amount of grace there. But like I said, for them to be playing dumb and act like they don't know there was foul play just shows there has to be some political tie-in. But like I said, when it's a case that's at such high notoriety, you have to be very cautious of what information is being released. So I do give them that grace.
The deputy medical examiner is requesting additional testing and or studies in order to make a determination. Due to the ongoing death investigation, the County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner cannot disclose what testing and or studies were requested. Deferred cases can take a few months before a cause of death is determined. And what is so chilling...
Oggi nasce il fascismo. Una creatura bellissima, fatta di ideali, di cambiamento, che conquisterà milioni di cuori. Sono sicuro anche i vostri. Seguitemi.
Chilling is the lack of answers. There have been no
Definitely, bro.
arrests, as this investigation is reportedly being headed up by the Robbery Homicide Division with the Los Angeles Police Department. We know
Well,
that
that's telling that this case has been picked up by the Homicide Robbery Division. That's pretty telling.
body was found in this Tesla after there were those at the yard who smelled a really bad, foul odor coming
I'm
from...
gonna just put it out in the air. Mark my words, bro. I believe someone close to David is going to take the fall for this in some way, shape, or form. Even if they actually were involved, I feel like there's going to be one, maybe two people who were close to David that is going to take the full rap for this. I put money on it, bro. I put money on it.
From the car after it was impounded. It was actually towed after it was abandoned for about 5 days in the Hollywood Hills. It was near a rental home where David was staying at. I mentioned there's no arrest, and by all accounts, David has not been listed as a suspect. He has not been arrested. He has not been formally accused of any wrongdoing. reporting in
Which I will say from the department, it is smart to not leak any information regarding whether David is or is not being looked at as a suspect, because whether you know it or not, that will then change the behavior of David. So it's best when the case reaches this level of notoriety to just completely stay silent until you're ready to attack. It's kind of like the Diddy trial, except, well, yeah, it's kind of like that. When Homeland Security moved, there was no rumors or rumblings that he was about to get raided. It just happened one day, kind of like the Little Dirk case, a whole different set of circumstances. But in that case, there was really no rumors. It was just boom, one day Lil Durk's being arrested for murder for hire. But I'm sure they was investigating this for months on end, literal months. Definitely when you're looking at the federal level. So, you know, things to keep in mind.
indicates he has been cooperative. In fact, no suspect or person of interest has been listed. He was on tour, by the way, across the country. He was about to go to Europe for some tour dates, but that has been canceled after Celeste's body was found. And here's something significant too. It has been reported that David has moved out of that multi-million-dollar 4-bedroom Hollywood Hills home that he was renting. The New York Post says, by the way, for $20,000 a month, that he broke his lease. And this comes after police had searched that home on September.
Nigga, you spending 20 bands a month on rent, nigga. You really crazy. Yeah, this nigga's really crazy, y'all. He's really crazy. As if you can't find a better, a regular crib for, I guess, 8,000 a month ain't good. That ain't, guess that ain't enough.
September 17th. NBC reporting that law enforcement sources say police were looking for various things, including digital devices that may contain material potentially linking Celeste to the property. TMZ reporting that LAPD detectives left with a computer and several evidence bags. An LAPD spokesperson telling people several items of evidence were recovered and will be analyzed by detectives in the coming days. Investigators are following up on several leads. E-News reporting that law enforcement sources with knowledge of this case and investigation say that electronics and computers.
Y'all. You like it. Make sure the shit's still straight. All right, cool. We good. How we coming? 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I'm gonna pause this real quick. K-boom. Let's lock in.
Computers were removed. TMZ also reporting that they were looking for blood. More specifically, TMZ's Charles Latibaudiere told Ashley Banfield on News Nation, quote, they were checking drains to see if there's any blood evidence or blood or tissue that was in the drains there. So they did a scouring of this house looking for any evidence. Now, here on Sidebar,
I don't think there will be any evidence found other than the evidence. It will be all digital, essentially. I feel like all the connections will be digital, either photos, cash apps, whether it just be Apple Pay, cash apps, money being transferred, and messages, photos, and money being transferred. And I feel like they're also going to find whether it was true or not that he was paying for silence, which will also be a key factor in the prosecution proving that he had a handling in this murder. I mean, in this case. I mean, I really didn't want to say the M word because y'all know how YouTube be. You know. But basically, that will be a key factor for the prosecution, for them to be able to validate that narrative and whether he was actually paying for silence or not.
We talk a lot about emergencies, but you know what we don't talk about enough is how to prepare so you can face anything with confidence. And I will tell you, falls are one of the leading causes of injury for older Americans.
We ain't trying to get added.
In fact,
Come on, bro.
Operators who already know your name, where you are, who to call, 75% off. But now I want to talk about.
I want people to keep the Hello Kitty in mind. I really feel like Hello Kitty, the symbolic reference to Hello Kitty, will matter in this case. But mind you, she was reported missing wearing Hello Kitty slippers, if I'm not mistaken.
So reporting indicates that Celeste had been missing since last year, having grown up in Lake Elsinore, California. And if
you know anything about the psychology of predators, they use certain attachments to lure in their victims, whether it be, oh, I also watched this show, or yeah, I'm also into this band, or I'm also into this culture, or I'm also into this subculture of, Hello Kitty is like a real subculture. That's real. So, just keep that in mind. There's a lot of things that point to the psychology of this case. There's a real deep psychology that needs to be looked at when speaking regarding this case.
Assume that is where she disappeared from, then that is about 70 to 75 miles away from where her remains were found in that car. She had been reported missing at least 3 times last year, with the New York Post reporting she was last reported missing by her family in April of 2024. She apparently ran away 2 other times per TMZ, and then she disappears.
Mind you, that teacher literally spoke about her running away because he was her teacher, her running away. He has pictures. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't really clearly watch the video. I watched the video, but I could not see it for myself. I believe he had pictures of David, Celeste, and him. I believe he literally had pictures because he showed a picture of here. This is a picture of me and Celeste, but I think he also showed a picture of Celeste, him, and David, because he said Celeste would come back to class after she was found in Hollywood and talk about her experiences. That will be such a pivotal part of the prosecution because they have to show that there was an established intimate connection and relationship between these two. And once that is established, we have to then look towards motive. But we first have to establish that this wasn't just a fan that he happened to take more than 10 pictures with and happened to just live with him and be on FaceTime with him at 3 a.m. and all this, that, and the third. Like I said, the strangest, longest list of coincidences we've ever seen in human history, I guess. If it's not that he's guilty. I guess these are just the worst coincidences that could possibly happen to any human ever.
She was in the 7th grade. She was a child. But again,
Child,
not clear
7th
what
grade.
she was doing before her death or what exactly her connection
Freak.
was to David. See, that
The
part's interesting. In
freak
terms
on
of her
camera.
connection to David,
Look at
that's
this
strange.
freak.
See, you have
A lot of people put
Bro,
off
I
getting
hate to even be that person, bro. Like, if you know me, I am the literal least judgmental person in all aspects of life. But, bro, the psychology just screams socio psychopath. And I also slightly want to talk about the psychology of celebrity and how the Diddy case really showed me that once you reach a certain social status and admiration, you really start to treat humans like property and just pawns of your reality. You treat them like moving pieces on your chessboard of your game that you control. And you want them to then become these mediums of harvesting, of muse, to where you can essentially energetically harvest them until they literally are no more, and all you have left is to physically sacrifice them. Like, it's a real life. I'm telling y'all, the occultic world is real. Not even in the Illuminati type way. Like, the occultic world is real. There are real practices. There are real trade-offs. There are real energetic transfers, trades, and sacrifices. And like I talked about, it can be through sex, it could be through choir, it could be through expression, it could be through symbolism, it could be through so many mediums, but it's ultimately a medium. Keep that in mind. I feel like Celeste didn't know what she was getting herself into, y'all. She didn't. That's why I give David no fucking grace, bro. It was too intentional on your end.
former teacher at apparently Celeste's former school, Lakeland Village School, who told TMZ that she had met David on social media and believed that she ran away to Hollywood to be with the singer, but that police found her and sent her back. He apparently corroborated that he knows her by showing a picture of himself with her and said that she had been missing since he had been teaching her, that
Yep, he's talking about the teacher.
she was frequently not in class, but really didn't know much about her private life. Those online believe that David and Celeste may have had a romantic relationship of some kind, but again, nothing has been officially confirmed.
So I hate when we just play stupid because, like, why do we need someone to tell us that they had an intimate relationship? It's quite damn obvious. Like, god damn, bruh. What we gonna need a nigga? I gotta crack the sky and be like, yeah, that's a fact. That right there, that's not a fact. But that right there, yeah, that's a fact. Like, who the fuck are we waiting for to fact check this? Who are we waiting for? The Discord messages have been proven to be real. It was I seen a video recording of the person going to the Discord app from their home screen and going to the messages. Stop it. In the messages that I don't know if she was texting a family member. I don't know. It seemed like someone that was really connected to her. They had a real relationship, whether it be a sister, a friend, a auntie, whatever the case may be. She said that they had sex. She said it when in the messages where she was talking about, well, I bled this time, or I was on my period, and this, that, and the third. You get what I'm saying? So why are we still acting like that's speculation? It's not. It's not.
Confirmed by authorities or either Celeste's family.
I'm sorry, authorities, just because it's the word authorities doesn't make it less or more of a fact before they quote unquote confirm it or not. Come on, bro. This is why the internet be solving cases before you niggas, bro. Y'all be waiting for too much confirmation, confirming the confirmation. Niggas gotta confirm the kill, huh? God damn.
Singer's camp. However, on yesterday's TMZ Live, Harvey Levin said, we've spoken to people in the music business who've partied with David, hung out with David, and there seems to be a consensus that people believe that David and Celeste were boyfriend and girlfriend. TMZ's Charlie Neff commented that people in the industry believed Celeste was actually 19 years old, saying when the news came out that...
But that baby looked like a baby. Stop it. That baby looked like a baby. Anybody who know anybody grown, there's certain mannerisms, there's certain psychological aspects, there's certain mentalities, there's certain things that people do and don't do when they're fucking 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 17, 18, 19, 20. We just come on, bro. God, who the fuck are these people, bro? Who are these people, bro? For real. What? All right, let me not.
That she was a 14-year-old child. They could not believe that because she also presented herself very maturely. They didn't really question it because of the places she was seen at. There have been reports that there is a leaked David song that potentially mentions Celeste, that there is a video of the two of them live streaming together months before she disappeared.
So what we guess? Guy got to confirm if that's her on the video or not. What are we doing, bro? That's why I say, bro, there has to be some or other political tie to where they're not going to slam this nigga, bro. This nigga should be slammed on his neck, bro. He should be cooked and over with. We should be talking about this nigga from behind the bars. What are y'all missing, bro? What are y'all missing? I'm trying my best, LAPD, but it seems like I'm smarter than the whole squad at this point. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through this 20 minutes, y'all, bro. Niggas just be dumb, bro. I hate to say it like that. Dumbness is okay sometimes. You know, everybody not meant to be on the same intellectual capabilities, but goddamn, bro. Come on, bro. What are we doing? Look at that message, bro. Look 1, 2, 3. Look at the fourth message up. Call you 4K. Bitch ass, dumbass nigga didn't even know, bro. If only he knew. This shit pissing me off, y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
Appeared in 2024. And I will say people are looking into his past songs and performances for any clues. Like, for example, he brought a casket on stage during shows. And in his single Romantic Homicide from back in 2022, he said, I killed you and I didn't even regret it. Now, in a GoFundMe that has been set up on behalf...
Nah, let me guess. That was Itachi speaking. At this point, right? At this point, nah, that was... goddamn me. Wait, yeah, like what we gonna say now? Like, goddamn, bro. Come on.
behalf of the Rivas Hernandez family, it says, as many of you know, Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been identified as the body found last week. She was a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. Her family is heartbroken and devastated by this tragic loss.
I'm not gonna lie, Trap Lil Ross, you better be putting $100,000 in that motherfucker. Trap Lil Ross has ran up a bag off this shit, bruh. And I don't think I've once heard him say condolences to the family. We know you are dealing with a real life tragic situation that the world is literally talking about every day. Nigga, if my sister, bruh, yo, y'all, bro, Trap, you better be in there, my boy. Trap,
any
you better
funds
be
you're
in
able to donate are greatly appreciated. Okay, so let me bring on criminal defense attorney William Corman, who is with us here in studio. Good to see you.
I don't want to hear him talk. We're gonna dive into the next video, y'all. We're gonna dive into the next video. I kind of want to watch the Davis alter ego video. We're gonna jump into that. Cause at this point, bro, it seemed like they need to hire me as the lead investigator on all the LAPD cases. Cause there's no way they playing this dumb, bro. It's blowing me, bro. It's blowing me, y'all. This is why I can't go through the facts and evidence and details of this case, because I'm gonna start asking myself, why isn't this nigga slammed on his neck? I'm talking about, like, you feel me? Like, god damn. Shit. All right, I'm about to share my screen, y'all. This is gonna be a long one, but this is what we do, bro. Y'all know how we rock. Y'all know how we rock. Are we gonna go into this video? I got another tab open. We're gonna rock with this one. Let me open this up. All right, let's rock with this one. Let's rock with this one. One second, y'all. I'm gonna share this screen with y'all. Are we locked? We got it to stage. All right, let's get into it. This one, we're going to be looking at David's alter ego. And if y'all remember, I spoke towards LA's handlers and alter egos being developed once these artists go through the, let's just say, ritualistic cycles of Los Angeles. We know that it's just a different biz once these artists break through that Los Angeles scene. I don't care what nobody says. I don't. So let's look into it. There is a real energetic practice. There's real books. There's real teachings. There's real life practices. And let's just say a history that can be followed that matches everything that's going on in this case when looking at the occultic references, the symbolism to just so many things, bro. My bad, y'all. My head all over the place because it's just like I don't know, bro. It's just it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Let's just dive into this video. I'm gonna speak on it as it goes. I want to hear what he got to say.
In the last half of this video, there's just so many red flags in all of this. The police are on top of it and they're going to figure it out. But man, here's where
They're not acting like they're gonna figure it out, though. That's the problem. Why aren't they acting like it? Why are they still acting like they don't know if these niggas connected or not? Like, we don't know. That could just be like, those can all just be AI. Those can, but that's just, those could be just fan pictures and what the. All right, bro. Let me chill. Woosa.
he brings up the romantic homicide music video with the bloody shirt and the blindfold.
And I had the idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a.
1 second, y'all. They're trying to stop the shine. You did. They're trying to stop the shine. Hold up.
character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie.
Bro, what's going on, y'all?
I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga.
They're trying to stop my shine.
And I wanted to make my own manga.
Hold up. We're gonna rewind this video, y'all. I don't know why it's buffering like this. The last video was straight.
Introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie.
I feel like the blindfold somewhat symbolizes his ability to see past what others would define as boundaries that should not be crossed. So I feel like it's kind of like an opposite representation, an inverted representation. Is like it was, and I feel like it was something that was specific to Celeste in that relationship. But like I said, she was being used as such a heavy muse through his artistry that I feel like there came a almost demonic attachment to where he had to almost play out certain aspects that he talked about in the artistry for there to be, bro. It's just it's like it's like I'm okay. I might be overreaching now. I might be overreaching that, but I do stand on. I believe it represents his ability to look past boundaries that others would see as something they would not cross, which would be age and just the certain developmental stages and where they are in life. That's why in that tweet he talked about our circumstances kind of prevent us from being together in the way that we want to, but we just gotta whatever to get past it, as he said in that tweet where he talked about you called me while I was writing this tweet or whatever.
I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Tommy.
This feels like the Melly shit all over again.
I tell you, bro, they use these alter egos to then to disconnect from themselves, and you got to think they have to feed these alter egos, but these alter egos don't eat food like me and you do. It's all based on energetic sacrifices and energetic trade-offs.
Again, remember Melly had all these alter egos like Melvin and all that bullshit where he had five personalities. I cannot believe this is real.
Which means pain in Japanese.
Pain.
And he wears his
of all
blindfold.
things, it means pain. Let's just keep this all in mind, y'all.
And he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter
agent
ego.
Of chaos. Everything this man speaks about, we can point to a direct manifestation of it, bro. This is what I mean by protecting your artistic value and what we allow ourselves to consume, because it does have an effect. Like I said, I literally spoke to someone who said they would feel so violated if this was the person they considered their favorite artist, because you don't know what long-term and deep level subconscious manipulation is going on that we just look at as talent or sounds or instruments or music or lyrics. These things take somewhat of a toll and have a real effect. Even if it doesn't cause you to do some crazy shit, it could just cause you to simply feel depressed. It can cause you to somewhat feel anxious. It can cause you to somewhat feel inspired to fall into this path and lead you into the long-term effects. You get what I'm saying? It's all trade-offs. Yo, if this video keep buffering, I'm done on it, bro, because I don't get why this one's buffering and the last one wasn't. I really don't.
The story of the manga went like I was a detective.
We're gonna refresh this, and if it don't work, oh well. Matter of fact, we can keep it up.
Detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself.
Like, come on, bro. Like, for this to be the circumstances to manifest and then to have him say this, it's like such a spit in the face. Like, if I'm the family and I see that, bro, I want this nigga head on a platter. And I'm not violent in no way, shape, or form. I want his head on a steak. I want his head on a plate delivered to me. Mafia style. Cut his fingers off, put him in a bag. All that. I want all that. It's fucked up, bro. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to let this video play. If you keep buffering, y'all, I'm gonna just end this video out, and we're gonna follow up in the next one because I can't deal with this buffering, and we already at a long enough point. I done got most of it off. It's just it's getting to a point where I want this nigga slammed, bro. I want this nigga slammed. Don't slam Shaquille O'Neal, Sean Kemp style.
Go on, bro. This is something straight out of a damn horror movie or something. This man is talking about an alter ego that commits murders, and he has to solve it himself. And he decided to put it in a music video called Romantic Homicide. And now a minor he was allegedly in a relationship with is dead in his car.
The cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it. Like it was in the vault for like months and months and months.
Keep in mind the let's just say the intentions of getting tattoos. I think that ties into the constant use of the blindfold, which goes back to the sort of this dystopian secret love horrorcore, because a lot of his music imagery is horrorcore. It is very much, let's just say, murderous love that kills you, which again, I'm gonna say this: love should never rot you to the core and kill you. That is not love. Who the lied to you, my boy? You're sick. Simple as that, my nigga. Love does not do that. Do not let this nigga fool you. Love does not kill you, bro. It does not. It doesn't. Bro, I can't do this, y'all. I can't.
And I introduced it for the first time on screen because I had the opportunity with music to kind of explore this idea further with the Romantic Homicide music video. And people were asking so many questions. I was like, yo, this is kind of fire, because like nobody would have ever heard of it if it wasn't for this music video. But Tommy was a staple of this music video. You kind of see him throughout the entire thing. He's holding the knife with the bloody thing. You got the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he killed. It was his first
Of course, why does it have to be a girl that he killed? Think about it. He's not realizing he's telling on himself through artistic storytelling. He's literally telling himself through artistry. This is the worst case of an artist art consuming them. This is the worst case of that. So when we speak towards the parasocial relationships and should we separate art and artists? No, this is why we should not. This is a shining example of why we should not. No matter how fire it sounds, no matter how cool it is, like I said, some of the most poisonous and most disastrous and most destructive forces come in the form of beauty. I'm going to say that one more time. Some of the most poisonous and destructive forces come in the form of beauty. And you know what? I'm going to let y'all watch this video, bro. Even if you wanted to see me go through it, I'm sorry. The buffering is killing me. I don't know where the buffering came from. All my tabs is closed and everything. I told y'all working with what we got. I'm going to upgrade my software and all that when I do. But yeah, bro, we're going to wrap this video up, bro. I really wasn't even planning to make this video. So for me to even go this far, I'm giving y'all what I got, bro. It's just, I'm at a point where I want this nigga slammed. I want this nigga head on the stake for the family. And at this point, I'm damn near finna go all out on this nigga for the family. Like, I'm gonna be the voice. I'm gonna be the voice of the voiceless. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, bro, regardless of the updates and all that, the evidence and all that, bro, it's quite clear that at minimum, there was a relationship between him and Celeste, and he knows something. Point blank, period. He should at minimum be held until further notice. Even if he's not charged, there should be a federal hold on this nigga, bro. It's screaming political ties. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm calling it now. It's screaming political ties. And if a random take the fall for this, I'm gonna be so upset, bro. It's not cool, bro. This shit ain't cool, bro. I'm out, bro. I'm gonna upload this straight as it is. I'm sorry for all the buffering, all the mess ups and et cetera, et cetera. But that's how we do it, bro. Raw message to David. It just is what it is, bro. I hope. Oh my god, bro. It's so much. It's so much, bro. Oh my god, bro. Condolences to the family. Prayers up and RIP. Rest heavenly, Celeste Rivas. You were a pure soul that this demonic force, even if it's not David, whatever he let inhabit him and inhabit his vessel in energy and in spirit, it took advantage and it used this girl literally to her wits' end. It used her until it couldn't use her no more, and it made the final ultimate sacrifice by getting rid of her ass. This shit is so fucked up, bro. It's so fucked up, bro. It's so fucked up. Y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all love yourselves. Y'all protect the ones who can't protect themselves. Y'all protect the vulnerable. That doesn't mean be Superman, my nigga. But come on, bro. It should never get this damn far. It just shouldn't, bro. Y'all take care of yourselves. I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the rest. We gonna talk. We gonna get back to it, bro. Soon. We gonna get back to it soon. Y'all take care of yourselves. We out.